So let's talk about the operation in specific and through the analysis of four-star General Jack Keane. General, what was your take on that 45 minutes and the rundown? I imagine a lot of it you knew already.
Yeah, certainly, but that's one of the most remarkable DOD briefings I've ever observed in the many years of observing them, to be quite frank about it. The Secretary of Defense obviously very frustrated and passionate about the misrepresentation of the results of that operation, and certainly felt compelled to adjudicate that and put the facts in front of the American people. I haven't seen anything quite like that since Don Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense, and at times he would take issue with the media. We were at war then, and the issues were high, and the stakes were high, certainly. And then any misrepresentation would certainly cause huge frustration, like it did here. But the chairman's briefing, I've never seen quite like that. A briefer I've given briefings myself, and I've watched succeeding chairmen do briefings through the years, and he did something that was really quite unusual, and I really commend him for it. I mean, he brought this operation alive in terms of the people. He gave it life, and that personal knowledge he went out and gathered and brought that home to the American people was something I think we'll all remember. And then a couple of the facts in here are just astounding. It reminded me of the CIA operatives who were on the target for more than a decade to try to get Osama bin Laden. And he identifies an intel organization that we all know is a very top secret organization that does this kind of work day in and day out in the shadows, away from anybody's spotlight, even in the Pentagon, much less the American people. And here we had a few people assembled there, one in charge, who's been on this target for 15 years. And as a result of their conclusions, we had to develop a special bomb to deal with this target. That is remarkable. We haven't done anything quite like that, as we all know, since the atomic bombs were dropped on Japan in World War II. That is remarkable, what took place here. And we went out and tested that technology and didn't put it in the hands of our combat fighters and bombers until we actually had proven it. And I think then the details provided in terms of what actually took place at the site, how can you not watch that and understand what the chairman was saying and not come to the conclusion that everyone is now coming to, that this program is set back many years and it'll take a long time for them to recover and rebuild it. Hats off to what we just witnessed here in terms of this operation and details supporting it.
Yeah, I mean, since 2009, right? They've been working on it. Here's some video of what it looked like when they were operating it before they actually hit the target over the weekend.
Wow. And you see the explosion right there.
Now, General, I think this was a test mission, right? This wasn't the actual, you'll see it here. And General, can you describe, based on that press conference, what exactly happened? Because it sounds like the first bunker buster took off the cement that the Iranians tried to use to cover those 3 vents. And then this second one, third, fourth, and fifth went down that middle shaft. Is that what you gathered from it?
Yeah, that's what I gathered from it. And then there was one, it's sort of a backup, number 6, that was there as well in case there was any failure. So, I mean, they built success into this operation. You know, whenever a military is planning an operation, one of the things that we do very well is we go through what if, and we try to cover the bases on all the things that could happen that could result in mission failure. And that certainly has been built into this operation, you know, with 12 MOPs on one site and 2 on the other site. And we also have to credit the Israelis in terms of the comprehensive air campaign that they were running through the 10, 11 days prior to this mission being run that hit all 12 nuclear sites. They took down the remaining 70 air defense batteries in the first 24 hours, an astounding accomplishment. And that's kind of out of the playbook of the United States. We always take the air defense down first. We don't bring anything into the country until we have done that job, as long as it takes. And they did a remarkable job in doing that. And the Israelis and the United States have set this program back. And I think we got to remind ourselves, this regime and who they are has not changed.
That's right.
They are absolutely committed to having a nuclear program. Despite what the success we've had here, I expect them to be thinking about how are they going to recover and how are they going to rebuild. And we have to maintain our vigilance here. Our intel services, the Israelis, ourselves, and if they start to recover it, then the Israelis, supported by the United States, if necessary, should reattack and take it down. We don't let them get to a point where they really have a significant capability and they're just weeks away from having a weapon.
General,
no more. We cannot let that happen.
Real quickly, General, because you were talking, I don't know if you noticed this in the press conference, but I know you've been in this position before. But the chairman was a little evasive at one point because he said, I don't want to give up too much, even though I brought this operation to life, because we may still need these guys again. So he kind of cut off some of the questions there.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, there's two sides to this. You know, one, our adversaries are all watching this. And I think this operation, the president's decisions, the boldness of it, and the commitment and determination to end this program once and for all, that was reflected in that decision. After all, he had time and time again, had never equivocated, no nuclear weapons, period. No president said it as much, and no president said it with as much determination, and then he delivers. I think part of the briefing also is for our adversaries to see it and give them some sense of our capabilities. We have achieved a level of deterrence now as a result of this with Russia and China and North Korea. And look at Russia and China could have helped Iran in their most desperate moment here. Once the Israelis first attacked, nothing came to assist them. Not even their proxies came to assist them. And they funded Hezbollah in particular for principal reason to defend Iran against Israel. They are isolated in a way that they have never been. And we have a huge opportunity here to create change. And I hope when we go into these negotiations, we put on the table things that are really tough. Independent inspectors in the country looking at all sites, and what's not dismantled or destroyed, then dismantle it. And then put on the table, we're going to talk about your change of behavior. We're not giving you free trade. We're not giving you sanction relief until you commit you're not going to support your proxies anymore.
Exactly.
You're not going to support terrorism anymore. You're going to recognize the state of Israel. And if you commit to these, then we'll relieve the sanctions and we'll open up trade with you so that you can become a legitimate country in this region. But if you're not going to commit to that, then we're going to continue on this path that we have, and you're going to continue to be isolated. Your economies are going to continue to be in the tank, and we're going to continue to contain your ambitions against what the region needs, which is peace and stability. We have a huge opportunity for a paradigm shift here.
And I think we should take it. In general, I'll talk to you more about that tomorrow for sure. Thanks so much for your
General,
analysis.
thank you for your service.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.